Yeah. So we got a very special guest today. Could you do me a favor and introduce yourself?
Briana Hernandez, also known as Little One from Arlanza.
Yes, yes, sir. Appreciate you taking the time to chill with us and chop it up with us. So I know you've had a very long journey, and I just wanted to touch on that a little bit. So let me ask, what was it that drove you to, the lifestyle that caused you to become incarcerated?
Um, well, my mom was a single mom, and so she was never home. She was always working, and we lived in my neighborhood, and I was really boy crazy at the time. So I remember my mom worked like doing AANA, called at a place called the Riverside Alano Club.
Mhm.
They used to have dances and stuff, and like the my homeboys from my neighborhood like would walk by, and I was like 11. I ain't gonna lie, I was like 10, 11. I'm like, hey, like really young, whatever. And then I started kicking it in the neighborhood, and then I just got caught up mm, with the wrong crowd. Not really the wrong crowd because they're the homies. I love them, but I just got caught up, and I wasn't about to you know, tell on anybody or do anything like that. So, I just took one for the team and ended up getting busted at the age of 12. I
Oh
I
shit.
did, and then yeah, and then I got committed to the youth authority at I think I was 13. I was the youngest one there. I remember that.
So
Yeah.
did you get busted for the crime at 12 and then you fought your case for that year?
No, I got busted. So originally, what had happened is they brought me back because my mom couldn't handle me, so she sent me to Illinois to go live with
Mhm.
my grandma, and then she got a letter stating that I needed to go to court,
Yeah.
and it was for arson, and and they sent me to placement. They sent me to boot camp. I kept leaving placement. I got kicked out of boot camp twice, and then I caught a case in juvenile hall because I hit one of the staff with the door because I was wild as hell, throwing tantrums, because I was
Yeah.
little. And then yeah, and then I went to youth authority.
So they basically like they refiled on you and sent you to YA, committed to the youth authority. So when you got
Hmm.
committed to the youth authority, how did it feel when you heard that? Like you're being committed to the youth authority for X amount of years, like where you're like, oh shit, because you're relatively
It
young at
was
that age.
Yeah, it was six years. I got committed for 6 years, 6 months, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I don't think I took it serious, to be honest. I,
Yeah.
I think I thought it was all fun and games. I mean, being 12 years old, hearing that, you're just like, well, whatever. Like, freaking, oh well. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's how I felt. It wasn't until I actually got there that I remember getting there. And I remember my first day when I woke up, there was freaking pincher bugs all over my blanket. And I just remember breaking down crying.
Oh shit.
Like, I was like, what? Like, I was scared. Not
Yeah.
gonna lie. I'm not gonna front. I was actually really scared, but the first thing I went out and did was try to get into it the Norteña. I was thinking that's what I should have did,
Yeah.
and I was all, going off. And I remember the older, because we have older, the ages there were like 13 to 25,
Yeah.
and I remember the older hyenas, they came up to me and they're like, hey, you can't be doing that. They let me. I'm not gonna say they checked me, but yeah, they checked me because they didn't want to put their hands on me for it.
Yeah.
But they did, have a conversation with me about it, and tell me, you can't be. We don't roll like that here. Like you're gonna get it, because you're gonna start an issue that that, and you're gonna expect all of us to follow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was unnecessary. And I forgot who it was that told me that, but I remember after that, I chilled. You know what I mean? I was like, all right, I'm not gonna be, but I thought that's what I had to do. Like,
Yeah.
because you hear like shit, like when you're young, like because I've always kicked it with older people. I would hear things like, "Oh, little homie had to do this, little homie had to do that." So I thought, okay, well, I ain't no bitch. I'm gonna make sure people know that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I was talking to Yahira, and she was telling me that yeah, it's kind of something similar where it's like they don't really gang bang like that in Ventura on the female side, and I was tripping out on that. So like what would did you guys ever get into like riots or anything like that? Would that happen? And if so, what were the
Yeah,
causes?
there was once that was supposed to go down, and I don't remember if it did though, because I think yeah, I don't think it did. It was supposed to go down in the Protestant church. That's where
Mm,
everything always went down.
yeah.
That's fucked up, but it's truth. But yeah, so no, I don't think it went. Just like a lot of talking. But I will say, there was a lot of fights. There was a lot. I mean, girls would get down a lot. I got down a few times. I always got down. I mainly got down with the black girls though, because they always like try to pick on me.
Was it you think you got people came at you a little bit differently because you were smaller, younger?
Yeah,
What was
definitely.
what was the first time somebody? Do you remember the first time somebody tried to push up on you, like say like test you and shit?
Hmm.
What happened
Yeah,
there?
it was actually, and actually we're cool now. I mean, it was a black girl, and she I don't know if she was playing or what, but she was all, oh, fucking bitch, I'm gonna fucking rape you with the hot curling iron. And I was like, like I got like, wait, what? You
Yeah.
know? And then, but I still came out of my room like nothing, and she didn't do anything. But then, like when I've talked to her about it to her like years later, she's like, oh, I was just kidding. But like a real incident though, it was actually, girls were like a lot of the girls were really jealous of me, and it was probably because I always kept a smile on my face, and a lot of girls were miserable in there. You know
Mm.
what I mean? And I was one. My mom came to visit me every weekend. She stayed the whole visit. I always had money on my books, so I think and a lot of girls didn't have that in there. You know,
Yeah.
it was to the point that they actually called my mom, brought her into my cell to show her, do you see what you're doing to your daughter? You wonder why she's not coming home? Like, she's
Yeah.
living it up, you know? They actually, that was like crazy in itself, you know, because they don't actually do that, but they let her come in and brought her to my unit, to my cell, showed her another girl's room and showed her my room, and like let it be known. And I remember getting mad because my mom stopped visiting me for like a month after that,
Oh
and I
fuck.
fucking went off on the staff. I
Yeah.
remember I went to lock up and I was all, fuck you, motherfuckers. My mom stopped putting money on my books, but I guess it helped me act right because I ended up getting paroled like a year and a half later.
Oh, that'll work. So let me ask about that time. So I know you said you had 6 years in court. When you went to board, the first time you went to board, what did they give you as your initial parole consideration date?
I think it was 13 months.
Oh, that's not bad. Uh,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and did you end up doing 13 months?
No, I did way more.
What was it that made you extend that time? Like, what were you catching time over?
I got a lot of write-ups, level Bs. My level Bs, there's a few for fighting, but it was mainly my mouth. I
Mm,
talked a lot. I talked a lot, like in line, like, and I would say, or it'd be the other girls talking, and I'd be like, the staff would, I'd be like, no, it was me. It was me.
yeah.
Like I never wanted anybody else to get in trouble, so I would always like, oh, it's me, it's me, it's me. You know, I don't know, it's fucking retarded.
Damn, and they'd break you off with a level B for like disciplinary shit like that? Damn, that's a
I got
trip.
a few levels. Yeah. Matter of fact, I know like I was watching one of your podcasts about fire camp, and I got one of the guys on camp kicked off of camp because
Oh, that's fucked
I
up.
used to yell I used to yell out the window all the time to him, and he would talk to me, and they finally said, you don't want to listen, and this fucking bitch ain't shutting up, so you're off.
Yeah.
And he caught time, and like it was crazy. I
Yeah.
feel
No,
bad for that. But me and him are actually best friends. Like I just talked to him today. Like we're actually best friends to this day.
oh, that'll work. Yeah, to be in fire camp, I didn't make it in fire camp. I tried to go and you need discipline. You know what I mean? Like you need some real discipline and shit. And I didn't have that shit, especially in my younger years. I was like, hell nah, I ain't doing that shit.
Me
Yes, but
neither.
the thing is, I think what's crazy with the females, from what I'm hearing, I heard from you and from Petra is that they would write you guys up and break you out time for just like acting up. Because in Nellis and YTS, like they'll just give you a level A for shit like that.
No,
Yeah.
let me tell you something. I want to say I barely ever programmed. I barely ever had day room time. I was always in my fucking room, always, and not because I wanted to be,
Mhm.
but because I always got in trouble. And it didn't fucking phase me though, because I had a TV, I had everything, and I write my little boyfriend letters. I had like 5 different boyfriends, fucking different fucking ways and shit. I did though. I'm just being real and like,
Yeah.
but it just helped me get my time. I even had two at the same time in Ventura, one on CDC and one on Montecito.
And did you get to actually see them or like what?
They would see me because CDC was facing visiting,
Mhm.
so CDC would see me. The guys would see me. Um, they always knew it was me. Everybody knew it was me because I was young, I'm small with a big butt, long hair. I've always had the same. I still to this day have long hair,
Mhm.
and all you would hear was little one. I'd be like, huh? They'd be like, tie your shoe. And I remember being like, the fuck? They don't tie because
The
at that
Velcros.
time I
Yeah.
had the Velcros. That was right before I ended up getting my one that did tie. But I liked it. I'm not gonna lie. I liked wearing the Velcros because I hated tying my fucking shoes.
Yeah.
I still to this day fucking hate tying my shoes. Like,
Yeah. No, no, I get it. When I get my shit, like I'll buy them a little bit bigger so I can tie them and just slip those shits
mhm.
on and off. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, but so they would see me. I'd get to see them that way. Church movement. I remember my one boyfriend, he fucking I thought he was riding some girl and fucking I busted a fatal. I ran out of I forgot, I think it was A6 or B6 classroom for it was for geometry class or something.
Yeah.
I fucking ran up on him.
I'll say busted a Superman on them.
He still clowns on me that to this day. Like it's fucking funny. But yeah.
Did you
I,
take flight or did you make it there? Like did you get a
no,
chance to take?
I went off and then I got fucking the staff came in, swooped up. They swooped up like real fast and I was like, fuck, like here I go, back to my room. I don't even think I went to school that often, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I'm the
I
same way. I don't remember a lot of school. Well, let me ask, when you would get in your fights, did they take it a little easier on you guys with breaking it up, or did they pepper spray you guys?
I was constantly getting pepper sprayed. I got I think it was actually not just pepper spray. It was like fog or
Oh yeah,
something.
the foggers.
I got fogged a few times. I didn't give a fuck. Like, I didn't. That was all the way back from juvenile hall. Like,
Yeah,
I stayed getting pepper sprayed because I was a wild one. I'd take off on the staff. I didn't care. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I actually just never understood why I couldn't just go home. Like, that was my whole thing. Like, why are I see, like, this is from juvenile hall, not from YA, but from juvenile hall, I'd sit there and see these girls coming in and out, and I'd be like, fuck, I only have one fucking charge. Why the fuck am I still here? Like,
yeah,
why can't I go home? Like, why do I gotta keep going to placement? Why do I gotta go to boot camp? Like, I never understood.
yeah. Damn.
But yeah,
So you know what's crazy about the fogger too is that the more you get hit with that shit, like the easier it is to just deal with. Like after a
it
while, you're
is.
just fucking
It
fighting through that.
is.
Like like that
I
shit's
just
nothing.
know, don't shower. Don't fucking
Yeah,
shower right away.
yeah,
You shower right away, you're in for fucking a burning of your life. Like probably like hell.
yeah. No,
I
I,
didn't
I
even put milk on this shit. I would honestly fall asleep and just let it sizzle its little way through for
yeah,
like however long it took. Wake up the next day and then shower. If they try to force me in the shower, because there was a few times they did, and I said,
yeah,
"Fuck that! I'm not fucking showering. I'll fucking sit right here in the shower room, but I ain't fucking showering. So you're
yeah.
just wasting your motherfucking time." Like I was mouthy. I actually had a run in with one of the staff, and it was actually a really big thing. I never seen her after that. I heard she went to the male side,
Mm-hmm.
and I heard she ended up getting pregnant by one of the males, but I don't know how true
Oh
that one
shit.
is. But she fucking we had words, and she said well, at least I get to go home at night. I said, oh, what? So you can fuck all the staff, fucking whore. And she fucking grabbed me by the back of my hair, twisted it,
Oh
and
shit.
fucking slammed me up against the fucking wall in front of like all the wards.
Yeah.
And it was like a big old fucking thing. Yeah, it was big. I remember that. And that was right before they, because I was in YA when they did that because of all that stuff that happened at Chad.
Mm-hmm.
And also in Ventura, there was a big one for medical because they
Okay.
weren't doing medical right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because yeah, Ventura housed all like the everybody with like any kind of special needs or any kind of like wheelchair access, anything like that.
hmm hmm And they weren't giving medical treatment correctly.
Wow, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
That is real fucked up.
Even for the pregnant girls, there was issues because I was pregnant there. Because I got paroled. I had my baby in juvenile hall, but then I got out, and my last violation, I was pregnant, and yeah, they didn't treat me too well.
Oh shit.
But yeah,
Uh, and let me ask. I know I interviewed another ward before named Petra, and she told me she got pregnant while in Ventura. Was did you?
really.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Peter from Samara? Do you know the one that was a stud?
Oh, was
She
she?
looked. She was.
I don't know.
She used to. I don't know. She. If it's a Petra that I know, which she was. My apologies. Sorry. I couldn't hear what you said. My fucking watch. If it's the Petra I know, she was had long black hair. She always braided it. She always wore a necklace, and she was from San Bernardino area. And I could have swore she was a stud.
Well,
But
I don't know.
some girls are gay for the state, so I don't know.
Yeah. So did you ever see any incidents where like the staff would like be with the wards?
No, I heard that. I always heard it, but I never seen it. And honestly, I never, unless I was just oblivious,
Hmm.
which I probably was because I'm kind of dingy. Um, I never really experienced anyone flirting with me. I think there was one staff, but I would flirt with him, but he was like the night man, but that's as far as it would go. Like there
Yeah.
was no like he obviously couldn't open the door because it
Yeah.
was nighttime. It was like and he would just come to my room and talk to me because I would be scared at night, like because I think that place was haunted. And
Well,
like
what
that,
makes
I'm
you?
not trying to sound like no bitch, but like I would really be scared, and at night I'd be like fucking freaking out, and he'd be like, just sit on your bed, pray, just pray, and it'll go away. And I'm like, this place is haunted.
What
And
makes you say
and
that? Like, what kind of things did you see, or what was it that gave you that notion that
I
it was?
would hear, well, because there was a few girls that killed themselves on the unit I was on,
Mm,
and so like years before I was there, and we knew of the stories, and um so just knowing that, and then sometimes I would be laying there and I would see something pass by, and I would say Coronado because that was the night man's name, and
mhm.
he wouldn't fucking answer me, and I'd be like, and then when he would come by, I'd be like, Coronado, did you just come by? And he'd be like, no. And I'd be like, seriously? I'd be like, don't fuck with me. He'd be like, I Hernandez, I really did not come by. And I'd be like, oh my God, something just went by. And like, I don't know. I've always been really strong with feeling like things.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, and how long did you do your first round?
My first round, it was from, I think 99, I think it was 99 to 2003.
So you get out in 2003, and do you go back to your neighborhood?
I did. Oh, no, 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 no. I actually got paroled to LA. I got
Okay.
paroled to LA, in a home. I went and I lived, it was like on Slauson and Alviso. I got a job at Homeboys Industry. And then I ended up going back to Riverside, and because I'm from Riverside, the Arlanza area, and I actually didn't go back to my neighborhood for a long time because I was really angry. I
Mm.
was really angry that I did all that time um for what,
Yeah.
like for nothing. Like I wasted like years and years. Like I could have had a high school sweetheart. I could have went to the prom. I could have been a cheerleader. Like all these dreams that I had just went away just because I was at the wrong place at the wrong time and didn't nobody want to fucking man up, woman up to their shit,
Yeah.
you know? So
Damn.
I was angry. Yeah.
And what'd you catch your violation for?
Um, my first violation was actually a charge and a violation. It was for I was pregnant and something occurred and it was like a stabbing or whatever, and then the charges got dropped or whatever, like, yeah.
So,
And
so
so I just did my violation, and then my second violation was so when I lost my kids, and because my professor, he told me, he knew what I was doing. He knew I was slinging. He knew all the shit I was doing,
yeah,
and he just told me, like, every time I come to see you, your kids are healthy. They're good. They're happy. Like, but the day that I see otherwise, you're gone.
yeah.
And I remember I was about to be getting off parole, and hold on, let me see what time it is. It's okay. Um, I was about to be getting off parole, and he said, "Okay, I'm gonna put you in this rehab in Norwalk, I think it was."
Yeah.
He said, "They're gonna help you, like, because when I got out parole at that time, was paying for people's rent, like not an apartment, but like a parole home, you
Yeah.
know."
Yeah.
So whatever reason, I never was able to stay with my mom, like
Mhm.
ever. And so me and my kids were in a parole home or in a halfway home or in this or in that, and so he put me in the program, telling me that it was gonna that if I completed it, they were gonna help me get an apartment and a job and learn how to be a productive member of society.
Yeah.
Well, that never happened either. So, I mean, that part's my fault, but I mean, it is
Yeah.
what it is. I learned from it, I guess.
And how long did you do the last violation?
It was the last violation. I maxed out, so it wasn't too long. I think my kids were taken in May, and I was on the run. I told my professor, I'll turn myself in after the first CPS court date.
Yeah.
After that, until then, I'm not turning myself in.
Hmm.
And he didn't go looking for me, because he knew I was on. My professor was pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
um, I think he liked me. That's why. But he like I think it was from May, and then I got out in like July, I think.
Okay, that's not too bad. But that's
Yeah, it wasn't
unfortunate
too
because during that time, your kids were gone. And how did you feel like having to return to YA, not having your kids there, and having to deal with that?
bad. That was one of the hardest things, dealing with that. I mean, I don't want to start crying, but that was one of the hardest things. Yeah, even I had my son in juvenile hall, my first son, and
Mhm.
I remember when I got transferred back to Ventura on my violation, they used to let me pump, like, for I can give them milk, and they would let me. I would go to the clinic and I would pump, and they'd freeze all this milk, and my mom would come visit me with the baby and take all the milk home with her, so that way my baby can have breast milk.
Yeah. Well,
But
well. So when you get out, right? I know at that point you don't have custody of your kids. You're fresh out of jail. Is that the point where you kind of wanted to start turning it around and changing your life?
nah, I actually, I actually got more depressed and just went on one.
Mm.
I did. I went on one for a minute because that's how I knew how to deal with things. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I knew to just start, getting high and to numb my emotions, like,
Yeah.
because it was so hard, like seeing my kids and and them not understanding why they can't come home with me, you know, like,
Mhm.
and hearing my son's voice on the phone and telling me he misses me when he's never even been away from me, you know, like,
Yeah.
um it took a toll. And then I was pregnant at the time as well, so um I was pregnant on my violation and dealing with CPS. Yeah, it was, I want to say that's one of the hardest things I ever experienced in my life, was
Damn.
the loss of my children.
No, I could
And
definitely understand that.
after I finally, it was when I met my husband, actually. I'll be
Mhm.
my soon to be ex-husband. It's when I met him. Um, he actually helped me get closer to God at that time. Um, and I was still fucking around a little bit, you know, here and there, but we moved out of state. And once we moved out of state, I got clean, and it was easier for me to get a job, easier for me to start over. And I ended up buying a house. And I just kept striving for my kids, even though they were gone for good then.
Mhm.
Um, I just told myself, you know what? It's not the end. They may have gotten adopted, but they're gonna come back, and
Mhm.
I don't want them to come back and be like, "Oh, my mom's still a fuck up. My
Yeah.
mom didn't care." And just recently, because I'm in contact with my daughter, my youngest daughter, because I have four,
Mhm.
and I'm in contact with my youngest daughter because she lives with her dad, and she got me in contact because I got her in contact with the adoptive mother of my other three, and but the adoptive mom don't let me talk to them, but my daughter can.
Yeah.
My daughter got me in contact with my son, and he's older. He's hoping to go into the NFL, and he asked me, you know, if I was still with you, would I still be going, you know, like, would I still be in sports? Would I still do this? And I just was honest with him. I said, you know, honestly, I've lived a hard life, and I don't think so. I'll be real with you. I
Mhm.
really don't think so, because I didn't have the means or the support or
Yeah.
anything from the dads, from their families, from, you know, like, I take responsibility though, you know, because I'm the
Yeah.
mom, but being, you know, 18 and having kids back to back to back, it's not, and then having no support from your family or their families is, it's actually, it makes things a lot harder, you know. And then
Yeah.
always being told you can't, like my mom always told me, you can't do that, you don't have a car, you can't do that, you don't have a babysitter, you can't do that, you know. She was constantly doing that. So when I got with my husband, back to that, he taught me that I could do things, you know. You could. And my husband was in prison for 20 plus years, you know what I mean? So like, he helped. I knew he understood me, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys that I've dated, they've been I think they like me because I am a YA baby. So they're like, oh shit, like this little bitch understands, you know. And I can understand the mental part of it, you know. Like, I think that's why I allow myself to deal with a lot of the things that I deal with in
Yeah.
my relationships, is because I'm like, okay, well, you know what? This fool fucking, he's been being busted since he was young. Imagine the trauma he experienced. Like, because there's traumatic experiences that we go through, you know. I'm
Yeah.
sure you
Definitely.
know, just that, whether it's from a staff or just, you know, like being away from your family at that young of an age, you know. I'm not family oriented because of it. Like, I can,
Damn.
like, sorry to say, but I can give two fucks if I have a family or not, you know, because I don't know what it's like. I'm used to having all these girls, you know, my YA sisters that I still talk to this day, you
Yeah.
know, like Yahida. Yahida hits me up whenever, you know, she has a few questions, like regarding certain things, because she knows I understand. And we just come to each other for a lot of things, you know, the ones that are still in contact. I've gotten a few, you know. I have one homegirl that she was on fire camp. She got me a really good job at one time. Unfortunately, I kind of fucked it off because I was not in the right state of mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I mean, we try to help each other till this day, you know.
Yeah. Definitely, because there's that common bond that like when you go to YA, you that's being incarcerated for years at a young age. There's
Mhm.
only the people who are there with you or who are in similar circumstances could understand that. Anyone outside of that, it's difficult for them to understand exactly what really happened. Yeah. So
Yeah, and that's an argument I had actually. Someone actually told me that about doing this interview that I was a little girl and I don't want to grow up and I need to get out of thinking. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you don't understand because
yeah.
you weren't locked up at that young of an age. Like, this is an experience that only people that have been there at that young of an age. Yeah, someone could have been in prison, but prison is as an adult. Like, you already know shit's already happening. But ages like me and a few other of us, it's like that's the time we should be fucking experiencing life,
Hmm.
experiencing our first love. My first love was through a fucking letter. Like, come on now.
Yeah. So I want to touch on something you said earlier, which because I had an interview a few weeks back where we're talking about being able to feel, right. So we're saying when you're young,
Yeah.
especially coming up from the streets and shit, you only feel like anger and happiness. That's all you can feel, right? You don't feel anything else.
Yep.
Like you were saying, you even took it even further with even masking everything with numbing yourself with substance abuse and shit. So how was it when you cleaned yourself up and you had to start feeling again? Like, or even for the first time, we could even say,
That was that when I lost my children and I cleaned up after numbing it for the first year or two that I did. It was hard. It was hard. I honestly, I want to shout out to my husband because he dealt with a lot during those first couple years of me dealing with what actually happened. Like actually taking responsibility and being, you know what I mean? Like, I remember I just slept. All I wanted to do was sleep and sleep
yeah,
and
fall
sleep
into
and
depression. Yeah,
yeah, and then I cried a lot. I fucking go off on him about anything. I call him names. I was really mean with my mouth. I feel like everything I felt about myself, I was like putting him down.
yeah.
But yeah.
And so after you cleaned up and you started doing well, what was it that motivated you to stay on that route, to stay on the straight and narrow?
My kids, my kids and my animals.
Yeah,
Because I had my pit bulls that I had since they were 5 weeks, and this is gonna sound crazy, but it was like a second chance to be a mom.
yeah,
Fuck. It sounds fucking weird as fuck, but dogs are like your children.
yeah,
Unless you're a pet owner, you won't understand. But my thing was, I failed as a mom, and I didn't want to fail as a pet parent.
yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, if I stay working, and I keep striving, my kids they're gonna come back, they're gonna see that, they're gonna this, they're gonna that, and then also like with my dogs, like they have like that's why I bought a house so nobody could fucking tell me they
Hmm.
couldn't have my pit bulls,
Yeah.
and yeah, so that's what kept me striving.
And what are you doing nowadays? What's going on with you nowadays?
Well, when I left my husband, I did fall back into that lifestyle a little bit, just not as bad, meaning not as bad as I wasn't going into the gang banging aspect of it. I wasn't really hanging. I did my shit on my own, like I knew better to kick it with people. And but I got clean June 7th,
A lot of work.
and
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you. And I'm back to work. I was still working the whole time that I was using, but I mean, I now I'm like more into my job, like I
Yeah.
was when I lived in the Midwest. I loved going to work, like loved it, because I love money. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And what does the future look like for you?
For me, well, I want to go back. I started to go back to school for nursing, but
Oh, that'll work.
unfortunately, California, denied me
Mm.
my nursing license. So I just dropped out of that. But I told myself I'm gonna see what I want to do. Like I was talking to Haida yesterday, and she helps the youth, and I'm thinking maybe that's something I want to do.
Yeah.
Like I told her, like, even if I don't get paid for it at first, just to go out and talk to them, or even if I had a chance to go back to Ventura,
Yeah.
because a few of them have. A lot of girls have, but that's usually the ones that weren't bad like me. Um, if I had a chance to go back to Ventura and talk to those girls and explain to them that it's not gonna be easy to transition, especially if you have a mother like mine. I
Yeah.
mean, I love my mom, but she's negative Nancy. So if you have family members that are negative and they still on you, you can always do whatever you put your mind to.
Yeah.
There's gonna be struggles. There's gonna be obstacles. There is. Life isn't easy, and even if you start serving the Lord, life is not going to be easy. It doesn't just say, "Oh, I serve the Lord, so all my problems are gone."
Yeah.
If anything, things get worse. They get harder, and that's why you got to stand your ground and be firm on and stay with the Lord. There's a lot of people that don't, that don't believe in God, or they go the other way, and that's fine. I don't knock nobody. Like
Yeah.
there's atheists and stuff, but that's just what works for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Definitely.
my higher power.
Yeah. No, I completely understand. Because I'm an atheist. You know what I mean? But I see that the change that people make when they turn to religion, and I can definitely appreciate that. I've got boys
Mhm.
that like them. They weren't going anywhere. You know what I mean? So I'm glad they have
Mhm.
that structure and that discipline in their life to help them move forward. Is there
my
anything
my
else?
my own brother's an atheist, and
Oh
and
yeah.
yeah, but he just tells me, what, sis, whatever works for you,
Yeah.
by all means. And he'll tell me, like, I don't believe in it. I think you're doing it for you, but if that's what you want to believe, whatever keeps you doing good, I'm all for it.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, that's what you want for your people. You know what I mean? At least me. I want my people to succeed. I want people to do well. And if that's what it takes, go for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I will say one thing that YA did teach me, though,
Hmm.
is I got along with a lot of the, like, with I actually got along with a lot of people, to be honest.
Yeah.
North, South, Fresno, like Bulldogs. I got along with everybody because, like I said, when I first got there, I tried to be all fucking
Yeah.
local, like, and I got kind of checked for it. So I was like, well, fuck, I'm in for friends with everybody. Unless I, like, am told, I go do this, then whatever. But I never did. So but one thing I learned is how to adapt. I
Yeah.
can adapt to any situation, any lifestyle, I mean, from all the way low, low, low to all the way high, high, high.
Yeah.
And I know how to, I don't like to say be fake, but sometimes I know how to fake it till I make it, if that
Yeah.
makes
Oh
sense.
yeah. Yeah. That makes a lot of
You know what I
sense.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not a fake person by any means, but I can fake it. I can fake it till I make it if I have to. And I want to say that's from being there, because you are with people. Well, on our end, for the girls, we're with all kinds of people, and let me tell you, I don't know if there's like a peseta yard on the guy side, but I
Nah.
know there's not one on the girl side.
Yeah.
We
Nah.
had to be, yeah, we had to be around fucking child molesters. We had to be around baby killers, and it wasn't known, like,
Yeah.
until, like, way late. And I remember, and it's fucking pissed me off. I remember there was this one girl, she was a baby killer,
Oh shit.
and nobody knew till way later, and she was the sweetest girl. And when I found out what her charge was, I just was like, what the fuck? Like, it just hit me, like,
Yeah.
like, what the fuck? Like, I talked to this bitch, like, what the fuck, you know?
That's a trip. Yeah.
I mean, she ended up I ended up never seeing her again. I don't know why. I think because I was on there's there's different units. She
Yeah.
was on a different unit than me by then, and like I said, I was always getting in trouble, so I was hardly ever out of my room.
Yeah.
Um,
The good thing about
I was on.
the male side is
Uh,
that like the sex offenders, they had like treatment programs they had to do. So they had their own. They did separate them because they had their own shit they had to go through. But
mhm.
yeah, like you could be like we had dorms when we were younger, so you
Oh.
could be in there with like murderers and fucking carjack any gang members. Everybody's just in there all together.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, pretty much that's how it was. And we didn't have dorms though. We didn't. I tried to apply for camp and I couldn't because I was an arsonist. They kind of laughed at me.
Oh yeah, yeah,
But which I never understood that because I'm all, hello, if I started a fire, don't you think you wanted to teach me how to put them out? Duh. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And they fucking laughed at me. They're like, "Brianna, you're crazy." Um, but one thing I did experience is because they had overpacked when I went to Ventura
yeah.
originally, so they placed me on the campsite.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so I got to eat their food. I It was like for the first like month or two, and
Yeah,
I was like, oh, this is the shit. Like, like I actually liked YA. I ain't gonna lie, I
yeah,
loved it. I had good times there, but I had really bad times there too. So, you know,
yeah. And is there anything else you wanted to say before we wrap it up?
um, just to all my fellow YA babies, I hope you guys are all doing good, and even if you're not, it's not the end, and you can always turn your life around.
Appreciate that, Brianna. And thank you for sharing your journey with us. And for everybody else, we out. Much love. Peace.